tea was very much the hot drink of choice among new settlers of the New World.
And then we went and taxed you and ruined tea for you. How could we do that? What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is going to be why do Americans drink way more coffee than the Brits? This is by Lost in the Pond, absolute legend, Lawrence, great channel, go and check him out, the link will be in the description. But wait till after this video, like I always say, I will remind you at the end, and then you can subscribe to this channel first, hit that like button, and then go over and subscribe to Lost in the Pond if you enjoy the content, which I'm sure you will. But the question, why do Americans drink way more coffee than British people? I guess because we absolutely love tea, you know what I mean? We had this discussion in the comments with somebody the other day, and I apologise, I can't remember exactly who it was. But I mentioned in the video that pretty much every hour, somebody will go up in the office and make a tea round. I mean, you'll get a nice cup of tea. Talking over an 8 or 9 hour period. So you get about 8 or 9 cups of teas a day. And it's just like, yeah, you can throw in a coffee. Some people have coffee all the time. But we have an insane amount of tea. And I don't know how often you guys have coffee rounds. Because I did actually ask in that video, do you have coffee rounds? And a few people commented just saying yes. One person will go to the local coffee shop or something like that and get a round in. Sometimes. It didn't say every hour. Like ours is literally, not obviously, it's not like clockwork, but pretty much. Around about an hour, everyone's kind of finished their drink. And someone else who hasn't made one yet will get up, make it for the 5 or 6 of you. And then an hour later, everyone's finished a drink again. Someone who hasn't made the drink will be like, oh yeah, let's make another drink. Get up, get everyone's cups and make another. So I assume that's why you guys drink a lot more coffee. Or it's a fact that, according to a lot of these videos, you guys don't have many vacations. You're a lot more dedicated to your work, apparently, which I disagree, because I am very dedicated to my work. I do these reactions and work at the same time. But apparently you guys are proper hardworking, always on the job, and maybe you need the coffee to stay awake. I don't know. Let's find out. Lawrence is going to answer our questions. It's been a long intro. I do apologise. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, you absolute legends. And let's find out why Americans drink way more coffee than the Brits.
Coffee. Who doesn't like coffee? Well,
and by the way, I do like coffee. Just to clear it up, I just prefer tea. If I'm really tired in the morning, I will have a black coffee.
Short answer to that is, I don't like coffee. Oh. At least that was true 8 years ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
A much more detailed answer would be that a big chunk of British people don't like coffee either. How do I know this? Because they drink it considerably less than their American counterparts. And there are certain reasons in the world that made this eventuality as inevitable as the ensuing comments from those American viewers who also don't drink coffee. Just to be clear, I am aware that neither country nor any country can claim that 100% of its people have been indoctrinated in the ways of coffee. But it's still...
Oh, you had to go for that pun. And I bet there is some Americans out there who prefer the tea. Yeah, you guys are secretly British. I rate it.
It remains a fact that Americans are drinking coffee at a much higher rate than us Brits. And as somebody who's lived extensively in both countries, I barely need the stats to bear me out on this. In my early days of living here in the United States, it really stood out to me. It seemed like everyone from my in-laws to my co-workers derived their caffeine from coffee and occasionally Red Bull, but we don't talk about that. It quickly became evident that coffee was a tool for social purposes. Colleagues would routinely say things like, hey, let's touch base over coffee. And
you know what, I feel like that is a very American thing as well compared to the UK. Like, you go to a coffee shop for a chat. We don't really do that, or at least we don't say we're going to a coffee shop for a chat. I don't know. It just seems like, maybe it's because I've watched a lot of Friends, and that's obviously in there. You guys like a lot of coffees. There's a lot of coffee shops around. Let me know in the comments if that is a thing. Like, kind of like what you guys probably think of other Brits. We go to the pub to have a pint and have a chat, which is a very common thing. All the time we'll go to the pub, have one pint and have a chat and a laugh. That's what you guys would do with coffee, isn't it? Let me know in the comments.
I didn't know whether or not the first part of that sentence involved learning the rules to baseball. So on both accounts, as a then non-coffee drinker, I usually said no, which I've come to realise is a decent way not to get promoted. It also became apparent to me that in the United States, it's socially acceptable to walk down the street with a to-go cup in your hands like you're on your way to paradise.
Enjoying life, man. Living the dream. Yeah, he's enjoying his moment in the shining lights there, I can see. I rate it, Lawrence. Enjoy your moment.
In Britain, we didn't do this when I lived there. And these are by no means the only reasons that America's apparent obsession with coffee stood out. So what else? Do Brits just not drink coffee? Of course they do, and in fact, they've done so in increasing numbers since I left 13 years ago. With the increasing influence of Starbucks, Cafe Nero, and Costa Coffee, Britain has well and truly jumped on board the coffee chain train. And so since I've only been back once in those 13 years, this is just a hunch, but I suspect that some Brits now do this. All that said, the British...
You know what, the thing is, right, I do have someone who I work with who basically only has coffee all day. So when I say I have 8 teas, they pretty much have 8 coffees all day. But in the morning, they will go to the shop. Only a basic shop, just a cheap one from a shop, and walk in like that with the to-go coffee, and it just sums it up perfect.
Still don't drink anywhere near as much coffee as Americans. So let's address the big grey elephant in the room, and I'm not referring to me. That elephant is tea. Although British tea consumption has been reportedly in decline, a 2016 study found that Britain, or in this case the entire United Kingdom, was still, at least per capita, the 3rd highest consumer of tea in the world, behind the Republic of Ireland and Turkey.
Ireland's beaten us. I wouldn't have guessed that. And Turkey, I wouldn't have guessed that either. Wow. But, apparently on the decline, man.
The record, the United States, was obviously way behind on this list, placing at 35th. So why does this matter? Couldn't Britain just enjoy tea and coffee? And the answer to that is not always. Just as some people are either a dog or a cat person, a fan of the Stones or the Beatles, or a supporter of rugby or football. Some people are just decidedly...
Well, I'm just one of them. I love everything. I love a nice cat. I love a nice dog. I've got cats and dogs. I love a coffee. I love a tea. I mainly have tea, but I'll have a coffee. I love rugby. I love football. I probably prefer football, but I'll watch rugby any day of the week. I just love everyone, and I love you guys. Absolute legends. By the way, we're never going to get through this video. I've got way too many nostalgic moments on this coffee and tea. I do apologise, it's going to be half an hour long.
Person or a coffee person, and there's no in between. Of course, it would be interesting, and for me quite demoralising, to return to these upward and downward trends in about 10 years' time to see how dated this video has become. In the meantime, you might be thinking, Lawrence, the title of this video is Why Does America Drink More Coffee Than Britain? When so far the burden of accountability seems not to be with the former, but the latter. Well, the truth is, America was once in the same boat. In the 17th and 18th centuries, even though coffee houses were showing up in the Boston area and beyond, tea was very much the hot drink of choice among new settlers of the New World.
And then we went and taxed you and ruined tea for you. How could we do that? I'm sorry, I'm interrupted again.
In fact, coffee was largely seen as a drink of the well-to-do. And so I suppose there's a certain level of irony in the fact that the demise of tea in America was largely the result of protests against tea taxation imposed by the British well-to-do. Famously, this played out in the form of the Boston Tea Party, in which members of the Sons of Liberty hurled tea into Boston Harbor. Thereafter, amid cries of no taxation without representation, tea consumption in this new country became widely viewed as unpatriotic. And arguably the biggest winner to emerge from all of this was coffee. Over the next century and a half, America's obsession with coffee grew to such an extent that by the early 1920s, the country consumed more than half of the world's coffee. This statistic was the direct result of what is known in the industry as the first wave of coffee. This had its roots in Gold Rush era California, where San Francisco became a hotbed for coffee importation and roasting. And out of this emerged 3 giants of American coffee: Folgers, MJB, and Hills. And the key word here is giant, because 2 of the most notable things about coffee's first wave is that coffee was mass-produced and tasted like it. And this idea of coffee as a commodity, in which Maxwell House and Folgers thrived, grew exponentially in the first half of the 20th century. But then after World War II, in which Americans were forced to ration their coffee, the per capita rate of coffee consumption in the United States began to decrease. And surely that wasn't...
I feel like a lot of things started to decrease, so it's not a surprise, is it really?
The coffee's fault. I mean, coffee beans were being imported at roughly the same rate as they were before the war. But one thing that did boom, of course, after World War II was America's population. And because of the growing influence of soft drinks on American life, some boomers were saying no to this coffee, which they insisted tasted bland. And then in the 1970s came coffee's second wave, which was led chiefly by the American giant Starbucks.
There we go. It's normally a Starbucks cup. Yeah, Starbucks kind of changed the game. I mean, when I say I like coffee, I just have it black pretty much. But you see all these caramel coffees, caramel lattes. I've never given them a go, but that's what Starbucks came in and changed the game with that stuff, and people love them. different flavour, different taste. Get your caffeine. Fair play.
And then a post-millennium third wave in which more attention is paid to the quality of the coffee.
Yeah.
Now, of course, these waves were occurring on either side of the pond. That was a joke about the Atlantic and waves. It was rubbish. But partly down to tea and the fact that the origin story of these waves was in the United States. America continues to consume more coffee than Britain. Here's the twist. Despite America's well-documented coffee culture, neither country, relatively speaking, are high consumers of coffee. Routinely ranked at the top of that list are the Nordic countries of Norway, Finland, Sweden, Denmark and Iceland, where each person drinks 20 pounds or more of coffee every year. Figures that are more than double that of the United States. And given the fact that the US's neighbours to the north, Canada, also feature high on these lists, suggest a relationship between coffee and cold weather. That might well account for why the highest consuming state within the United States is Vermont. Then again, number 2 is Arizona, so it's not a perfect science.
Yeah, definitely not.
That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below whether you're a tea or a coffee person, or neither.
Let me know in the comments, guys. I want to know. Don't get into any wars, though. We're all friendly here. We like them both. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you only like one. Or maybe you like neither. Let me know in the comments your opinions, guys. Again, it's all personal opinion. Go and check out Lawrence. The link will be in the description. Awesome guy. Awesome channel. And, yeah, he lets me do his reactions. I have messaged him before, and he was so sound about it. So if I can send at least 2 people over there, like, it means a lot. Because at least I'll be like, yes, you're letting me watch your content, have a fantastic laugh with all you legends. Have at least 2 more people who want to watch your awesome content. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.